Well, what happens if World War III never actually occurs when everyone was expecting it to happen? That's how we all went to bed last night when President Trump put out a notice on Truth Social that a ceasefire had been declared between Iran and Israel, thus ending the 12-day war. So we thought. Then, on his way to the Marine One helicopter taking him to Andrews Air Force Base to get on Air Force One, along with our very own Katie Pavlich from Town Hall, by the way, traveling to Europe for the NATO summit. Well, then the president revealed that there had been continuous rockets fired between Iran and Israel. Well, sort of. We'll get to the president. He's going to give the details. But the best part of this entire exchange is when he took it right to CNN. Fake news, I believe he called them. Let's see.
I don't think so, but I'm not happy that Israel's going out now. There was one rocket that I guess was fired overboard. It was after the time limit, and it missed its target. And now Israel's going out. These guys got to calm down. Ridiculous. I didn't like plenty of things I saw yesterday. I didn't like the fact that Israel unloaded right after we made the deal. They didn't have to unload. And I didn't like the fact that the retaliation was very strong. But in all fairness, Israel unloaded a lot. And now I hear Israel just went out because they felt it was violated by one rocket that didn't land anywhere. That's not what we want, I'll tell you. And I'm telling you, I'm not happy about that, Israel, either. Because all I do is play both sides. I'm going now, as you know, to NATO. Some of you are going with me, and I think it's going to be successful. We'll see. I'll let you know.
The new dawn in the Middle East agreement you managed to achieve. What are your future plans for the reasons of Saudi Arabia, Israel, Gaza, the hostages?
Look, you're asking me about women in the Middle East. It's getting a lot better. Things are happening at a high level. As you know, Saudi Arabia has done a really good job. It's coming out far faster than I thought. So we're very happy about what's happening with women in the Middle East.
No, I'm talking about a new dawn in the Middle East that you managed to achieve last night.
Yeah.
It's in, the region is going to a new place with the peace agreement. Can you tell what your future plans for Gaza, for the hostages?
Yeah. It's a new dawn. I appreciate the question. You're very nice. Who are you?
Thank you. I'm Naria Kraus from Israeli.
Very good. Well, we have to have Israel calm down because they went on a mission this morning. I got to get Israel to calm down now.
Do you get to speak with the president? Did you talk to
I speak to everybody.
All right, let me jump in real fast. There's more to this, few minutes more, but I do love this. Such a New York thing. Everyone's got to calm down. Joan Rivers used to say that all the time. Remember, Joan Rivers was asked when we will have the first gay president. And she said, we already have him. It's Obama. And Michelle Zatrani, calm down. Everybody calm down. It's a great New York thing. He wants everyone to calm down. And he said he's angry at Israel. He's angry at Iran. Let me explain what's going on here for those of you who are confused. As the president just laid out, after the ceasefire, one lone rocket from Iran shot didn't hit anything. And the next thing you know, Israel's loading up their planes full of bombs and heading back over to Iran. The planes were in the air, as a matter of fact, as this was going on. And Trump was frustrated. And he was frustrated and again, I'm just explaining, I think, what's going on here. Think about President Trump here. He supported Israel for the last several months, gave him the green light to plan the entire attack on Iran that occurred on day 61. And obviously the deal was, listen, Bibi, Israel, chill out. Don't do anything. I've given Iran 60 days. If you get to day 61 and they haven't made a deal, all bets are off. Go ahead. And that's exactly what happened. And then, of course, Israel says, listen, we've done quite a bit. We've gotten rid of the air defenses, but it's going to be the U.S. Air Force and the Navy that needs to really finish the bombardment for this nuclear facility. So he weighed his options, he set up the plan, and of course, he executed that plan on Saturday. So he's done everything that Israel has wanted at this point, which is also in the best interest of the United States of America as well. Then Iran does this face-saving sort of token, send 6 missiles to or rockets to a U.S. airbase in Qatar and warned us ahead of time that it was coming. Fascinating little tidbit yesterday afternoon. No casualties. And what did President Trump do? He took a deep breath and did nothing. Incredible restraint. I mean, he would have been completely justified to send a whole new volley of Tomahawk missiles and just do away with downtown Tehran. He didn't. He let Iran do their little thing, took a deep breath, didn't retaliate, got everybody on the phone and said it's time for a ceasefire now. So that's what the United States did. And suddenly at the end of the ceasefire, and by the way, Israel got 12 more hours to bombard some pretty key locations in Tehran, really good ones, IRGC headquarters, the gate of a prison that was full of political prisoners. I mean, really good stuff to help instigate potentially a regime change there and let the people of Iran sort of march against their own totalitarian terrorist government. One stray rocket goes, doesn't hit anything, and Israel freaks out, and then they send the bombers. And Trump's going to be like, hey, I didn't do anything when they sent 6 rockets at my base and actually hit some things. This one stray rocket that ends up in the desert and you're going to go send bombers? No. So he's pissed. He's frustrated. And he's saying, enough, everybody calm down. And he says a little later, as you'll hear, I understand you've been at war for decades and it's hard to get the peace. But Trump continues to maintain consistently, even though he just used military force, that it's for the purpose of peace. And he really does want the peace. All right. So that's the initial exchange here. Now what should happen as this develops?
You urge both sides not to violate the ceasefire, but people coming from the region suggest that the sides accuse each other for violating the ceasefire. So,
I think they both violated it.
yeah.
I don't think I'm not sure they did it intentionally. They couldn't rein people back. I don't like the fact that Israel went out this morning at all, and I'm going to see if I can stop it. So as soon as I get away from you, I'm going to see if I can stop it. Okay?
Yahoo. Have you spoken to him this morning?
I think it's been completely demolished. I think the reason we're here is because those pilots, those B-2 pilots, did an unbelievable job. And, you know, the fake news, like CNN in particular, they're trying to say, well, I agree that it was destroyed, but maybe not that destroyed. You know what they're doing? They're really hurting great pilots that put their lives in the line. CNN is scum, and so is MSNBC. They're all, and frankly, the networks aren't much better. It's all fake news, but they should not have done that. Those pilots hit their targets. Those targets were obliterated, and the pilots should be given credit. They're not after the pilots, they're after me. They want to try and demean. No, Iran will never rebuild its nuclear. From there, absolutely not. That place is under rock. That place is demolished. The B-2 pilots did their job. They did it better than anybody could even imagine. They hit late in the evening. It was dark with no moon, and they hit that target with every one of those things, and that place is gone.
Just in case you missed it, I do like to emphasize certain things as these clips play, and I want to just make sure it didn't get lost in the mix. I believe it was, let me just make sure. Yeah, I think I got it right. CNN are scum. He said to the CNN reporter. CNN are scum, I believe he said. Did I get the transcript right? Kevin, I just want to make sure I'm quoting the president correctly. I don't want to be inaccurate. Is that what he said? I'm pretty sure.
Yep, you nailed it.
That's it. Yeah, CNN are scum is what he said. But let's be clear on why he's saying it, because I think that his heart is so big, this man, especially after working with the military, meeting with the military, and knowing what these pilots, these Air Force heroes, did, flying from Missouri, 36 hours round trip to drop these incredible bombs on the nuclear facilities in Iran. The most incredible, successful, extraordinary bombing campaigns ever. I mean, not since, Doolittle flew over Tokyo during World War II did we see a mission like this. Let's be clear. He's reacting to CNN professionals and analysts and teleprompter readers saying, well, we can't be sure that they've really reduced their nuclear capacity. I mean, who knows? All we see is a crater. We don't know what kind of destruction. So they're questioning, and this is how Trump is taking it. They're questioning the competence and skill level of these pilots and the mission itself. They're trying to undermine any success that President Trump had. Why? Because they're rooting against President Trump. It doesn't matter what Trump does. They're rooting against it. But just understand something. If President Trump said free ice cream for everyone, and they came out and criticized that, and they attacked Trump for it, I understand that as far as they're concerned, because of their TDS, they're just going after Trump. But ultimately, what are they really opposing? What are they really against? They're against ice cream. They hate ice cream. Ultimately, that's what ends up happening. And so ultimately the criticism of Trump, just to get at Trump, and that's why Trump just said that, they're coming after me, but they're getting the military and the pilots and the people who are actually successfully engaged in this extraordinary mission. There should be nothing but praise. And instead they're questioning, well, maybe it really didn't do that much. They don't even know how these bunker buster bombs work. I mean, they're designed. They're so massive and they're so heavy, and you drop them from this huge altitude. They're designed to cut through the earth and explode under the earth. So, of course, yes, all you're going to see up here is a hole where the bomb entered the earth. The actual explosion takes place underground. They're incredible pieces of technology, and no one else has them. And, well, no one can F with us is the bottom line. All right, so did I get it right? I just want to make sure everyone got it. CNN are scum. Yes, we got that? Good, let's move on.
But when I see CNN all night long, they're trying to say, well, maybe it wasn't really as demolished as we thought. It was demolished. You take a look at the pinpricks and you see that place is gone. And I will say, I think CNN ought to apologize to the pilots of the B-2s. I think that MSNBC ought to apologize. I think these guys really, these networks and these cable networks are real losers. You really are. You're real losers. You're gutless losers. I say that to CNN because I watch it. I have no choice. I got to watch that garbage. It's all garbage. It's all fake news. But I think CNN is a gutless group of people. And the people that run it, nobody even knows it's been sold so many times. But the people that run it ought to be ashamed. MSNBC, a guy named Brian Roberts, he heads it. He's a disgrace. He's a weak, pathetic disgrace.
Well, Iran violated the peace agreement and the ceasefire agreement. Do you believe that Iran will be made to sheep?
Yeah, I do. They violated it, but Israel violated it too. Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I've never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel. When I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because the one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
What an extraordinary 5 minutes of an impromptu press gaggle there on the South Lawn as the President of the United States confidently strides to Marine One to get to Andrews, just a few miles away from the White House, and then fly to Europe for the NATO summit. This is a man in full, with full confidence in what he's doing and his policies. Amazing, amazing moment. And of course, we didn't bleep that out. We're not going to bleep the President of the United States. He said it with emphasis. You betcha. By the way, did you notice he said Israel is now heading back over to Iran? As soon as I'm done talking to you people, hopefully I can put an end to it. He gets in Marine One. They're flying over the district to get to Andrews so he can get on Air Force One. And apparently, this is exactly what happened, because just moments after what you just saw, while he was flying, he put this out on Truth Social. Israel is not going to attack Iran. All planes will turn around and head home while doing a friendly plane wave to Iran. Nobody will be hurt. The ceasefire is in effect. Thank you for your attention to this matter. By the way, people keep saying, why does he put Donald J. Trump president of the United States? Because it pisses everybody off who hates him. That's why. He likes to remind Hillary his title. He likes to remind Joe and Kamala of his title. And the entire staff at the Bulwark. He just likes to remind them on a regular basis. So apparently he gets on the phone and says, BB, stop. Go back. We've got a ceasefire. The one rocket hit a camel. It's not going to bother you. Turn the planes around. So Israel's sortie actually ended up just being like a flyover. Think of Tom Cruise in the original Top Gun, blowing past the control tower, making everybody spill their coffee. Plane wave. I like that. Meanwhile, Democrats still continue to scramble. They don't know what to do. I'm begging. I would love for the Chairman Jim Jordan, I believe, of the Judiciary Committee has a hearing today. I would love for him to just hand the gavel over to, Jasmine Crockett, Rashida Tlaib, AOC, and say, my understanding is that you would like to impeach the president for successfully ending Iran's nuclear program. Please proceed. Please make the case. And I would like, along with Speaker Mike Johnson, to bring these articles of impeachment to the floor so every single Democrat up for re-election next year is on the record as to whether they think Donald Trump should be impeached for ending Iran's nuclear capability. Jasmine Crockett was seen at an event in Washington, D.C. Oh, no, this isn't Washington, is it? Because I see a palm tree in the background. Who knows where she is these days? She can raise money. They love Jasmine Crockett. So here she is raising money at some event, and she's very upset that President Trump didn't ask Jasmine Crockett's permission to end Iran's nuclear capability. And of course, as usual, Ms. Crockett, the congresswoman from Texas, put it in a very colorful way.
And to understand enough about the Constitution to the extent that I'm the one that's supposed to make a fucking decision or at least get a vote. But it's Ron that's telling me. Right. So literally,
So let's just be clear here. I'm sure the American people can rest easy knowing that if our military is going to be used in a one-off bombing run against a terrorist state like Iran, as they are on the verge of developing a nuclear weapon and enriching uranium well beyond any commercial grade, before anything is done, we're asking Jasmine Crockett, the congresswoman of Texas, to make the decision. I'm not sure if she has to, get out of bed at 3 a.m. and put the eyelashes on before she makes that decision, or if she just sleeps on them. I'm not sure. Either way, Jasmine Crockett will be made. I'm sorry. How does that go again?
and to understand enough about the Constitution to the extent that I'm the one that's supposed to make a fucking decision or at least get a vote.
Yeah, we're in good hands with her, aren't we? Our military is definitely in safe hands with Jasmine Crockett making the. Yeah, I don't have my beep button with me today, so I'm just going to have to leave it at that. CNN, they really didn't know what to make of this after the announcement yesterday of the ceasefire. They spent hours and hours and hours, first of all, questioning whether it was true and whether there was a ceasefire. Then they had to face the sad reality for them that there was apparently peace in the Middle East. That's bad news for CNN. Let me repeat that. Peace in the Middle East and an end of hostilities between Iran and Israel is bad news for CNN. Enter Scott Jennings. Abby Phillips' show. On the panel is an Obama staffer. The Obama people think that they did something good with Iran when they handed them pallets of billions of dollars of cash and allowed them to enrich uranium. We are in this place right now because of the Obama administration. And they can't stand the fact that Trump, at this point, other than the Affordable Care Act, which hopefully is still on the bucket list, but other than that, every single thing that Barack Obama can point to and say, look what I did when I was president, every single one of them has been reversed, upended, and improved or destroyed, thus improving our nation and the world. And Iran's nuclear capabilities is just the latest to go down in a fiery pit. So, of course, this Obama administration staffer has the sads that the mullahs can't enrich uranium.
Does it matter?
So
whether or not they actually were going to do this?
I think it does matter, very much so. And I would agree with Dr. West. As the world as it should be, we should not have nuclear weapons. I agree with you 100%. The world as it is, the president of the United States, I worked for an anti-war president, and I saw... No, he was. He ran against.
How many countries did you bomb the crap out of?
Well, that's what I'm going to say.
Lord have mercy.
Like you guys didn't just use bombs for diplomacy.
But do you want to put the scorecards up against each other?
I'm happy
bombs
to put
and drones?
scorecards.
You all are the key.
I got lots of scorecards.
Let me let her finish.
Got the drones killing innocent folk under Democrats and Republicans.
But you do, because the American president's job is to keep.
All right. So she said, you want to look at the scorecard? Yeah, I think we should look at the scorecard. Set aside the fact that ISIS as Barack Obama referred to them as the JV team derisively, was able to grow and take over pretty much the entire Levant territory of the Middle East, from Syria to the Iranian border in Iraq. Think of the hundreds, if not thousands, of people in that area who were terrorized and murdered by ISIS. Obama did nothing about it. Trump goes into office, and within 6 months, ISIS is wiped off the planet. But then, as you heard Scott Jennings just say, let's talk about the countries that you bombed while Barack Obama was president. And that's exactly what they did over on the other channel, Fox News channel. Yeah, let's talk about the scorecard. Senator Joni Ernst on yesterday.
And they are protecting American interests.
Senator, real quick, Syria, 12,192 bombs, Iraq, 12,095 bombs during the last few months of President Obama's. And no one was talking impeachment or authorization or having conflict over that here at home. But my point is you served in Iraq, so you have a little bit of knowledge about all that was going on. Just real quickly, when you compare this strike and its efficacy and cloaked nature, what do you say?
Right. And I do think this was incredible. The fact that they were able to keep this secret and to move out and to move forward with this operation without it leaking, without the Iranians having any idea that this was coming, was absolutely incredible. So what I would say is, for the other nations and adversaries around the world, make no mistake that America is back. We have the most lethal fighting force on the face of the planet. And when we are threatened, when we have other adversaries like Iran that have killed Americans, you better be wary, because we have the strength and now a president with the wherewithal to actually push back against those that come after American lives.
That's right. And as I told you yesterday, China watched everything that transpired here. Russia, North Korea, any other adversary who thinks that they can mess with us, they were all watching it, and they learned a very valuable lesson about our capabilities. Also, again, the scorecard. Yeah, let's have the scorecard. There it is. You can screenshot it if you'd like. There's your scorecard. What did that Obama staffer at CNN say? I work for a pro-peace president. Sure, I have no doubt that in his heart, Obama was pro-peace. After all, he won the Nobel Peace Prize about a week after he took office without doing anything. You know, when you're given peace prizes without actually doing anything, it's funny how you can then find 26,000 bombs to drop on 7 different nations. All Muslim nations, too. Why is this guy so Islamophobic? There's your scorecard right there. And yet, as was just discussed and pointed out, no one was talking about impeaching Barack Obama for exercising his constitutional authority as the commander-in-chief. But when Trump does it, and does it effectively to a much smaller degree with much better results, he's got to go. Because the real beef against Donald Trump is not what he does and not what the results are. The beef against Donald Trump is that he's proving all of them wrong. All the professionals, all the people who live and die in this town, by being the experts, on being smarter than everyone else in the room, on being, in charge of global affairs. He comes in, does things a little differently, and is actually effective and wins. They can't have that. Otherwise, their lives are meaningless. Otherwise, their next grift dries up. Oh, and speaking of grifts, Cornel West. By the way, what's the deal with the black scarf thing around his throat? Is that like, when you go to the barbershop, men know what I'm talking about. You go to an old school barbershop and they put the little white, like, cloth around your throat. And I never quite understood what that was, other than maybe to stop the chafing of the little cape they put around you. But that's what Cornel West has, this thing around his throat all the time. Is he hiding the scar from a tracheotomy or something? I don't know what the deal is, but he's a nutbag. Look at that. Look at that face. He's insane. And, well, he tried to mix it up with Scott Jennings last night.
The United States
You can't violate national sovereignty of a country.
Why?
Why?
We do it all the time.
Our safety
I
and
know, because
security
America
was at
violates
risk.
international
The
law all the
Iranians
time.
have
Who's gonna
killed
stop us? Who's
Americans
gonna stop
for
us?
decades.
You would think
Doctor.
morality ought to play some role.
You think
in
it's
stopping
immoral to stop
You think
Iran
nothing-
from getting a nuclear weapon?
I think that any condition.
Who's the moral actor here, Iran or the United States?
In terms of ensuring that we don't have nuclear bombs anywhere?
No,
You think-
in terms of ensuing these butchers don't have nuclear bombs that they
Well,
have fully
brother.
said they will use on Israel.
Well, we got a larger discussion. We've got
Hold on.
United States,
There's no
Israel.
equivocation.
Hold on, Scott.
What they've
Let
done
him
in
answer your
Gaza
question.
gives neither one of them moral authority. That's a genocide, it's ethnic cleansing. Israel has no moral authority. United States has no moral authority.
Disagree.
You think that no, we just had deep disagreements on that. But I'd like to hear your Christian formulation.
So
on
your
this. Where does the
alternative
cross
is to
play a
allow
role?
them to develop
Where
and
does the
deploy
cross
a
play a
nuclear
role,
weapon.
my brother?
Hold on a second.
Where does the love? Where's the love for you, for Iranians, and for Palestinians and others?
We don't live in a theocracy, but they do, and their theology.
I don't
is,
defend theocracy.
Their theology is to get a nuclear weapon, destroy Israel, and destroy the great Satan, which is the United States. Our government is based on one thing: national defense. And what's in the best interest of our national defense is for these fanatics not to have a nuclear weapon where they can wipe us off the map. It has nothing to do with Christian or whatever. It has everything to do with national defense.
And you don't think there's fanatics?
There you go. Christians are fanatics. The U.S. has no moral authority. We're just the same as Iran. We're just as evil as Iran. Who are we to tell them whether they can have a nuclear weapon? Because we already have nuclear weapons. And that's Cornel West. He represents the political left in this country. He's a professor with tenure in good standing at Princeton University. And, well, think twice before you pay that tuition for your young kid if they get accepted. But they'll only get accepted if they forego writing an essay and getting good grades and instead just put out good TikTok videos. That's how you get accepted to the Ivies these days. That's a pretty good summation of where we stand right now in terms of the political discussion over the events in the Middle East. And last I checked, which was just about 2 minutes ago while the clip was playing, ceasefire is still holding. President Trump's in the air. Let's see what happens. I don't know about you, but so far, so good. Also, CNN are scum.